Welcome back to Don't Repeat What Mommy Says. What? Did I steal your thunder?
I thought I was introing this time, but that's fine. Hi, I'm
All right.
Jennifer.
Well, fine. You do it next time.
I'm going to do it now. Welcome back to Don't Repeat What Mommy Says, because she's a little salty.
Shit happens. What are we talking about?
So we were talking about desired gifts for mom, and I have a list. It says the 7 most desired gifts for mom. The gift of
Okay.
sleep.
I could use some of that. Uh, if any of you saw my last episode that we just did, it's been a long, like, month and a half of crappy sleep over here. So,
Yeah. And I think even when your kids aren't little anymore, mommy wants to sleep. Because for some reason, we women cannot sleep. What is that?
I know. And I've had people be like, well, why don't you just go take a nap? I'm like, I don't know what it is. I cannot take a nap.
I don't even have kids here, and I feel like I don't have time to take a nap, which I probably do because I sit on my phone and play games, but that's important to me.
Is it trouble with transitions?
It could be that, and I sleep better now with the hormone pellets in my ass, but they're not in my ass. They're subcutaneous. They're like under the skin of my butt. I sleep better now with those, but I still don't sleep like your dad.
It's honestly the only thing. And I don't miss the amount of sleep I got. I just miss how fast I fell asleep when I was like 3 months postpartum with Henry because I was just so insanely tired that I couldn't physically stay awake once my head hit the pillow.
So maybe we need the gift of not having to overthink everything so we can just sleep.
Yeah, the gift of turning our brains off.
I would love to be able to
I
turn
want to
my
be
brain
like a
off.
man. Because, like, when men tell you they're not thinking about anything, they're literally not thinking of anything.
That's what Dad said to me because I was like, "Is that like really? You're not like nothing?" He's like, "Yeah, you could just sit there and it's like crickets." No, there's nothing going on. He's like, "Then we go to sleep."
How does that.
They're done for. They're very task oriented. If they're done with their task for the day, they're just done. They're fine. He's like, "Yeah, we don't sit around and think about stuff like that." He's like, "We have you for that. You think about everything all the time."
And like, so we were talking about the book we're writing, and in the last scene, the character based on my dad and based on my dad's best friend are in the car together. And we were talking about like, what are they thinking? And my dad's response was, they wouldn't be thinking anything. They're dudes. They'd either be talking or thinking nothing. So,
Right? He's like, "We don't sit there and post game that shit. It happened. We're done with it. We've moved on."
yeah, right.
So we're like, if you read the book and you're a lady and you're like, well, these men. No, we wrote them like men because we asked men. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So the gift of non judgment.
Yeah, that's a big one. So I see this online all the time is the moms getting judged for everything.
Everything.
So my husband's grandparents were just here, and the ones who were here, the grandmother breastfed. And when she breastfed was a time where it was really not popular. They were telling moms that breastfeeding wasn't natural, your kid wouldn't get enough nutrition, you had to do
It's like
formula.
not natural.
Yeah,
That's so funny.
yeah. So she breastfed, and she faced a lot of criticism for it. And she made the comment one of the days she was here. She's like, it doesn't really seem that in public places breastfeeding is really that much more accepted than it was when I did it, you know, almost 50 years ago. So
I think it's pretty
I
accepted.
I would disagree. I think it's fairly accepted, but I do see a lot of honestly, it's both sides. I swear to God, moms can't win. You either have the people saying you shouldn't be doing that in public and you got to cover up, or you have the people saying you shouldn't be feeding formula, you're killing your baby because you gave him formula.
Yeah, I got a lot of judgment for that. I don't care.
Well, and the other one that I've seen judgment on is car seats.
Mm.
If you have your kid in like a video or a picture and they're forward facing, everyone's going to jump on you that you have to rear face that child. Doesn't matter if the kid's like 15, you got to rear face that baby. But I saw something the other day of a woman who had her child rear facing still. She was a fairly big kid, but she was still, little. Her kid was only like 18 months old. She had her rear facing, and people were like, you need to turn that baby around. So you can't win,
And
no matter what you do.
when I was, when my kids were still minors, and even still, like I get criticism all the time and judgment. I just didn't give a crap. But you gotta not give a crap because whatever, who cares? As long as you're not like abusing your child, then you better listen to the criticism. But other than that, it's gonna be fine. But also nowadays with social media, there's so like it's just so much more. It's always been around because I think women are just crummy to each other. I don't understand why, or if maybe they're trying to convince themselves that they did everything perfectly. I don't know, but their kids usually end up being jerks, so whatever.
Yeah.
So I flew by the seat of my pants my entire life. My kids turned out okay. Your kids probably will too. It's going to be fine. The gift of empathy.
Mm,
Like you want people
maybe.
to. Uh, it's not important to me, but then I don't.
I could see where you might want the gift of empathy from your spouse
Yeah, I think that.
because I think a lot of moms, especially with the very little kids, have this argument or complaint, I should say, very often that their husband just doesn't get the amount of crap they're dealing with in a day. Even if they're a stay at home mom, if they're a working mom, we all have the same gripe. Like, we just live two very different lives, I think, when it comes to parenting from our husbands as
Yeah,
moms.
I agree.
And I don't think, and I'm not saying single dads or dads who are taking up the primary parenting roles don't have those issues. I just think they process it a little differently and they don't also have the hormones on top of it, compounding the frustration.
Well, I mean, I guess it's nice when you have empathy from another mother. I like the Bluey episode when she's like finds out that the lady had a whole bunch of kids already, and she tells her
Yeah.
she's doing a good job. I think that's nice. I I don't know if I cared that much. I probably didn't care.
Yeah.
My husband and I just didn't even see each other anyway because we worked different shifts, so he couldn't. I didn't empathize with him either. I was dealing with kids during the day. He was dealing with them at night. We were both like on no sleep and a prayer. So I
Yeah.
don't. We just wanted to sleep. We wanted gift number one. Both of us did.
Yeah.
Okay, the gift of appreciation.
Oh, for sure. I think a lot of times it feels like motherhood's a bit of a thankless job, not just with your kids, but with your spouse, with really anything you feel
Society.
like you're doing. Yeah. Just somebody to be like, hey, thanks, Even if you're the person who makes dinner every night, it's nice when people thank you for putting in that effort.
Right, but on the other hand, if your love language is words of affirmation, motherhood should not have been your preference because
Yeah.
it is pretty thankless and your kids will not appreciate you. They have moments of appreciation, but they don't really appreciate you until they're adults and their parents,
Yeah.
you know? And you can't really expect it because it's just what it is. Like, go into it knowing that, I feel
Right.
like. The gift of reassurance, I think that's important. I think
I
it's
could, yeah, I could see that.
it is nice when, especially with a first baby, when you feel like maybe you're not doing it the best, to have somebody who's a veteran mom being like, hey, you're doing great. I mean, that can
Yeah.
get you through a whole day when you're feeling like you're just pretending. Because did you feel like that? I felt like that. My first
Yeah.
baby, I felt like I was just pretending. I'm like, I'm like playing a mom. I don't know what being a mom is.
Yeah, and I know I've gotten comments like now, that Henry's a little bit older, where people are like, wow, you're doing pretty good at that. Like, so I'm like, okay, well, I mean, clearly I've stepped into the role, but I know in the beginning I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I mean, with Henry, I had some other issues going on, so I had kind of a harder time bonding with him too. So a lot of it felt like, wow, I'm not doing this right. Like if I was doing this right, I would feel bonded with my baby, and I don't.
Right.
So,
So I think for us older moms, when you see a younger mom, it's nice to give some reassurance, like that they're doing fine, and it doesn't have to be like a big long speech and all kinds of sappy or whatever. Just be like, wow, you got this. You're doing a great job, or whatever. Your kid your kid looks really put together. Whatever, just some kind of compliment like that.
You
Just
know,
let those younger moms know that we see you and you're doing a good job.
weirdest compliment I got as a mom, as a new mom. Your
I know, but
baby's head is so perfectly round.
yeah, I knew you were gonna say that one. It was funny.
I know, and I still think about it to this day. I'm like, it seems like a strange compliment to give, but apparently my kid had a perfectly round little head. He's got a really big head now, but.
He does have a melon head, just like his grandpa. The gift of a lighter mental load.
I don't know that you're going to get that.
You're not gonna get that.
I don't. I understand wanting it, and I understand the frustration of being like,
You want
you
it.
see dishes in the sink, why don't you just wash them? And I know that it's just a random example. I know people in your household sometimes would. But if
But
it's
does
not
that
something.
But does that really lighten the mental load? No, it doesn't. You'll find
Well,
something else to obsess about.
right. So even if they get up and just do the thing without you having to ask, you're going to have something else that you're thinking about. And unfortunately, that is the plight of moms. We are typically the ones making the appointments, remembering the appointments, carting kids to and from, keeping track of when did so and so get a bath last.
Look, even if you're not doing all of those things, like even if your spouse is doing 50% of those things all the time, which probably not, but if it was, your mental load's not going to be lighter because we're women, the hormones are crazy, and if we don't have something like that to worry about, we're going to be worried that we're screwing our kids up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't end. It doesn't end. So just try to be easy on yourself and easy on the people around you. And if you really need help with something, a tangible thing, just ask. Take a breath and ask. No, should you have to ask? Maybe not, but you do. So just do it.
You do. So just do it. It'll be fine. You'll survive.
Right. So when you need to lessen your mental load, I suggest going in the bathroom, locking the door, and pretend like you're taking a dump for an hour.
And you know what? So men do it too. So take it. Take that. Oh, so I saw something last night. Speaking of this guy was complaining, and it was one of those Reddit "Am I the asshole" posts. Because when he gets home from work, his wife's a stay-at-home mom. She's exclusively pumping for their child. When he gets home from work, she hands him the baby, and she disappears in the room for an hour to pump.
Yeah.
He's like, am I the ass for telling her she should be getting up and doing things and not just disappearing for an hour?
Yeah.
Because she has a wearable pump. I was like, there is no world in which you are not the ass. Like, she has been...
You're the ass.
She has been the sole provider for this child the entire time you've been at work, all through the night while I'm sure you were sleeping fat, dumb, and happy. And now she's got to put her pump on. And somebody else was like, well, why does it take an hour to pump? I'm like, maybe it doesn't take an hour to pump. Maybe she's taking a few minutes to take a breather, reset, take a poop, brush her teeth. There's probably other things she's doing, but at the same time, I was an exclusively pumping mom. There were times it took me 45 to 50 minutes to finish pumping. So.
I just, like...
And who cares?
Like, whatever, dude, it's your kid to deal with it. She's dealing with it. You deal with it. She handed you the baby. I guess you're tapped in.
Right, and he's like, well, I just want to relax when I get home from work. Like, well, she wants to relax too. She didn't... Did you get to poop alone today? Because I'm sure she did not. So...
I mean, and luckily, I guess, people had a lot of judgment about my husband and my situation because we work different shifts. So we weren't around each other, so we didn't really have those arguments.
Yeah. But I mean...
And so I'm glad we didn't, honestly. I'm just glad we didn't.
I get wanting to relax after work, and I know men don't really watch this, so there's no point in really talking to them, but if you feel like showing this part to your husband, I'm not the first person to say it, but they can have their time to relax after you've had a break.
Yeah.
It's okay. Because you have spent your entire day, from the moment you opened your eyes, taking care of little people.
Well, or you can agree, I mean, it might be something that you guys need to work out, too, because I could see being in agreement, like, hey, honey, when I get home, can you just give me 30 minutes to unwind and stuff before I get in there with the kids so I can switch gears from work to this? And then I'll take it from there. If that works for you, I think that's an okay situation too. But definitely negotiate those things.
Absolutely, but I think there's a misconception that, especially with newborns, because they sleep so much, they sleep like 20 hours a day or whatever.
Yeah, they don't though.
It First of all, they
It's
don't.
broken up.
It's broken up. Second of all, in between them being awake, you're trying to do a million other things, and especially like a pumping mom or a formula mom, you've got bottles to wash, you've got, you know, you still have all the regular day to day life stuff on top of a tiny little human who is hungry every 2 hours or less, who is constantly attached to you because humans are a very, like, biologically, we're a very social breed. We are meant to be carry mammals. That's why our babies, need to be carried so much and why they like movement. That's what's soothing to them. But,
Just so I heard a lady say, and this was pretty cool. Fights are unvoiced expectations.
yeah,
So, being that I've been married for a very long time, so we dealt with all of those things, but we've dealt with a whole lot of other things since, it is important to talk about expectations on both ends, but it can't be one sided. Okay, there has to be compromise. You have to listen to his expectations too, but voice your expectations, and try to come to some agreement, because if you're expecting something that's never getting done, but you never voice that expectation, you were setting yourself up for a fight,
yeah.
and disappointment and all of these things. So when you have a baby, and even if you already have kids and you have another child, like, those expectations might change. Hey honey, we got to renegotiate this because I'm feeling like I'm drowning, and he's feeling like however he's feeling. A lot of things that men really, honestly, a lot of complaints that they have is not feeling appreciated and feeling like you're just telling them what to do all the time. So
Well, and there are some other ways too that you could make life a little easier on yourself, especially in those like early days where your kids are so needy. If you have like a barnacle baby like mine, um, it's not for everyone, but baby wearing can be super helpful. Because I heard somebody give the advice, don't wait for nap time to do what you can do while baby's awake. So, like with Henry, I spent a lot of his nap times trying to catch up on chores and finally realized, like, I can do this while he's awake, and then when he's asleep, I can maybe do something I want to do. At least once in a while. That helps.
But I don't want you to forget, if your husband does meet those expectations, like, say thank you. Don't forget to say
Yeah.
thank you. Because they really, a lot of men, like I said, that's their biggest complaint, is not feeling appreciated, which that's our biggest complaint too, quite frankly. So we're, as much as we're different, we're a little bit the same on that. So just make sure to say thank you. And then
Yeah.
hopefully he will follow suit and say thank you to you as well. Like, hopefully you will create an environment where the parents are saying please and thank you to each other, and then you'll have little kids that grow up to say please and thank you, and it won't really take you much to teach them manners because they see it.
And it is the absolute cutest thing when they say thank you unprompted to somebody who's not expecting it.
Yeah, it is.
So, like my son, when he said thank you to the doctor because she let him go pick out a toy, she was just so tickled. She's like, he said thank you. I didn't even have to prompt him. He was just like, oh, thank you. So, it is really
Yes.
cute, and it makes you, like, you as a parent will feel like you're doing something right when your kid has those manners. And
Hmm.
leading by example is the best way to teach him. Because I never really told my son, like, oh, say thank you. But I say thank you to him. I say thank you to his dad. His dad says thank you for things. It's just a behavior that's been modeled a lot.
And to be fair, my husband has always been very polite and always appreciative and says thank you and stuff like that. So I
Yeah, he
mean, I
didn't even
had
used
good
to swear.
manners too. He didn't used to swear, but he's been around me too long now. He does. Yeah, he used to say
Cheese and
cheese and
rice.
rice. And I was like, Jesus, I married Ned Flanders. And for those of you that
uh,
don't know who that is, it's from The Simpsons.
well, my husband was like such a prude about swearing around children specifically. And I'm not very good at not swearing around my children. But then the other day he had my toddler in the stroller and he's whispering something to him, and my toddler looks at me and goes, "Welcome to Jackass." And then my husband took off with the stroller. I'm like, so you've gone from not wanting me to swear around the children to encouraging our children to swear. Really, dude?
At their
Really?
mom.
At their mom! Rude.
Man, you can
Was there-
understand them.
Was there more
But
on your
ask for
list?
help. Ask for help. Ask for help. You're probably not going to have the mental load lightened, but at least you'll have some of the physical load lightened.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's another thing though too. Like if you're drowning in those appointments and stuff, just tell your husband like, "Hey, can you set that appointment?" Would that work though if you're the one taking them? Because they'll set it on a stupid time. Never mind. Scratch that. Don't let them do it.
Yeah, I think there's some things you just have to accept that you're the person who does that. Now, you begin as you mean to continue. If you don't want to be the person in charge of your husband's appointments, don't make his doctor's appointments for him. You are not his mother.
And you know what? I never have done that. And
I
mean,
never
it's
have
okay.
done that
Like,
either.
If you want to, though, if you want to and you don't mind that, then by all
Absolutely.
means,
If it works for you, but if you don't want to, don't do it. Don't start doing it.
Don't start doing it.
Yeah.
Just don't. Yeah, I don't make his appointments. I don't make his lunch. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't pick up his laundry. If it's not in the laundry basket, it does not get washed. I don't do any of that ever.
I do
Never,
make my
never have.
husband's lunch,
I
but
know
it
you
took
do, but you want to.
it took until I destroyed these the third time they went through the washer for my husband to realize he should at least clear his pockets before he puts his shit in the basket.
Well, and see now, Dad does laundry more because I work. Like our lives have changed, so our role. I don't want to say the reversed. We just both do housework now. Except
Yeah.
he doesn't clean the bathroom because we've talked about that. But
Right.
he does a lot of the other stuff on the weeks I work. And I am horrible about leaving stuff in my pockets because I used to always do the laundry, so I just check my pockets before. And he's like, he's so good though. He doesn't even yell at me. He's salvaged so many chapsticks that went through the washer, but he makes sure they don't get in the dryer. I'm like, wow, you're so much nicer than I am.
Nope. All the times I've washed this specific pair on accident, it's made it all the way to the dryer before I realized it was in there.
Yeah, that's why I said Dad's nicer than I am.
I'm not that nice. Should have cleaned your pockets out.
I got a winner, so I will forgive him when he doesn't do the dishes. That's okay. He does them a lot, so you know.
Fair enough.
The gift of quality time. I don't really know what they're talking about. Quality time
Just-
with your spouse, quality time with your kids.
I mean, I could
Quality time with your kids. Maybe could you do some of the other grubby stuff so I can just hang with the kids? Maybe.
I could totally see that. Like quality time with your spouse if you're not getting very much, and quality time with your kids if you're, bogged down in the to-dos and you just want to do something fun.
If you can, if it's something that's available to you in your life, reach out to those grandparents to watch those little people sometimes so you can go at least have lunch or something with your husband.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a little hard with Lauren and Andy right now because Ava's still breastfed and she's a barnacle baby, but
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I have a dentist appointment in 2 weeks, and I don't know what I'm going to do with Ava. So,
what do you mean?
I mean, I'm going to have to take her with me, but I'm not going to be able to have her on me in the dentist chair, so yeah. That's all right. I'll figure it out.
Bring Grandma with you.
I might.
Leave Henry with Grandpa?
Maybe. But do we have any more on the list? This was a weird tangent.
It was a really weird tangent. Like you got a slice of life there. And this is how we figure out stuff. So if you have a mom that can help you, that's always cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's wrap that.
Wrap it.